videos, right? Got videos. So now we are recording now. The floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Okay, sir, is my screen visible?
Yeah, I have your view.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome you all to today's session on product thinking and entrepreneurship for electrical and electronic engineers. So today is my fifth session, and we are going to see about business models, and then I'm also going to give you a lot of examples on hardware entrepreneurship, because like, of course, you are all electrical and electronic engineers. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples of companies who are building hardware products and then commercializing such hardware products. So that's what we are going to see later in today's session. So I'm not going to give you again an introduction about myself because it's my fifth session. So probably like many of you already know about me. But I just wanted to like give you a short recap of what we have seen till now. So we have passed 4 sessions until today. So to just recap, so basically we had a session on electronics, integrated circuits, testing, measurement, all such stuffs. And then we had a session on how you can prototype your ideas. So whatever ideas you have, how you can quickly convert that idea into a prototype. Whether it is a software idea or whether it is a hardware idea, I gave you a lot of examples of to help you convert your idea into a prototype. Then in the third session, we saw about some important frameworks that are currently used by every startup company, used by like even bigger multinational corporations. So that is design thinking and lean startup, which is basically used to identify who your customers are and what sort of problems they are facing and things like that. Basically the principle is to basically start with the problem first and then move towards the solution rather than the other way around, because as engineers, of course, we all have that solutioning mindset. Like, so we all quickly jump into solutions, but business and startup is something different. You should not start with a solution in your mind first. You should basically start with a problem, and then that problem should guide your solution. So it is not like you build something and then go to your customer and then like trying to sell that. Basically, it is first going to your customer, identifying what sort of problem your customer is facing, and then thinking what sort of solution you can build, and then building the solution. So that is the sequence of steps when you go into any company for employment, or when you start up your own company. It should always start with the problem first. So that is why we saw about some of the important frameworks which are called as design thinking and lean startup. And then we had a session on business model canvas. Then last week we had a session on startup 101, where I gave you like a lot of different terms and terminologies that any company will use to see how the company is performing. So that's what we have seen all the way till now. So in today's session, we are going to see about business models and some hardware entrepreneurship examples. So what is a business model basically? So business model, if you know any company, so let's take any company for example. Like let's take Samsung for example. What is the business model of Samsung? So Samsung basically manufactures smartphones and they sell it. That's it, like that. The business model is very, very simple. Basically, they manufacture a phone like this and then they sell it. Similarly, if you take Apple, again, the same business model applies there also. Basically, they manufacture iPhone, iPad, laptop, computers, iPod, AirPods. So they manufacture, they design many different things, and then they manufacture it using outsourced contract manufacturer like Foxconn, for example, which is the company I am currently working where I'm working. And then Apple sells these products through their own networks. So this is what the business model of Apple is. Of course, there are like few other sort of business models also. So basically, if you go to Apple Store, you can purchase any application there. If you go to iTunes, you can purchase movies, you can rent movies, you can purchase songs, audios and all. So through that also Apple will start to generate some revenue. So business model is nothing but how the company is generating revenue, how the company is generating profit, because the fundamental principle of a company, the company that existing is to make money. Any company you take, the company is not existing there for any charitable purposes. There are, of course, some charitable organizations which do not require any profits. So that is a separate thing. But any other company that you take, for example, whatever company you know, Apple, Samsung, Xiaomi, Huawei, Oppo, like any other company, Lenovo, Dell, HP, like any other company, like Grab, Food Panda, Deliveroo. So all such companies are basically existing to make revenue and make profit. How they are making revenue and profit is what their business model is. So basically, the business model is a plan your business has for making money. It explains how you deliver value to your customers at an appropriate cost, basically. So that is what a business model is. So coming back to the example of the Samsung mobile phone, basically, what is the cost that Samsung is incurring to manufacture this mobile phone? So let's say, for example, this mobile phone costs $1,000. So for Samsung, it may cost $500 to manufacture this. So that is the money they are spending to fabricate or manufacture one mobile phone. And then they sell this mobile phone to you and me, like consumers like us, for $1,000. So in this process, Samsung makes $500 profit by selling one mobile phone. So that is the business model basically. So the plan is to like fabricate this mobile phone as cheaply as possible, and then like selling it to consumers like us. And in that process, consumers like us are also getting some value basically. So what sort of value we get? So basically, if Samsung comes up with a mobile phone with a good camera, we are getting some value in terms of the photographic functionality of the phone. If Samsung comes up with some mobile phone that has a very good processing power, then we are getting some value in terms of like ultra fast speed in using the mobile phone, like very responsive mobile phone and things like that. So if Samsung is coming up with a mobile phone that claims to have a battery backup of like 10 days, so like how much ever strongly you use your mobile phone, so like even if you are a power user of your mobile phone, like you play games, you watch videos, you listen to audio, so like even if you use your mobile phone heavily, if the mobile phone is able to withstand for 10 days, if the mobile phone is able to give you like 10-day battery backup, then basically it is a value for you, right? So this is how every product will aim to deliver some value. So the business model basically is the plan to make money while delivering value to consumers like us at an appropriate cost. Because if Samsung makes this mobile phone for $1,100 and they sell it for $1,000, then basically they don't make any money. So then basically the company will be losing money, right? So that should not happen. So that is why like optimizing the manufacturing process, optimizing the process in which you deliver value at a low cost is very, very important. Okay, so we saw about business model canvas in 2 sessions before. So in that business model canvas, there are basically 2 important things that I explained to you before. One is cost structure and one is revenue streams. So cost structure is basically what is the cost you are incurring to develop any product or service, and revenue stream is how much money you are getting by selling this product or service, and through what means you are getting this money by selling this product or service. So the business model is basically something that is like kind of like matching this cost structure and revenue stream. Basically, like ideally the cost should be very little and the revenue should be more. So that is how your business model should be. So very idealistically, which does not exist in this world, but just as an example, I am giving you this. So idealistically, if your company is not spending any money to develop a product, so the cost is zero, and then if the company is like selling this product for like $100, then basically like your profit margin is something like 100%. So that is idealistic condition, but practically the company will spend some money to develop any product and service, and that should be like as low as possible. And while selling your product and service, the company will generate some revenue, and that should be big as possible. So that is what the business model is, basically the plan which kinds of like connects these two things together. Okay, so now let's see some common business models that are used by all the businesses today. So this will help you to understand more clearly what a business model is. So the very first, so we are all consumers, right? So we are all consumers. We are all basically all the business models that I am going to share with you now. You will realize that we are all consumers for that business model at one point of time in our life. So that is what I want to like convey you here. So the very first business model is freemium. So freemium business model, basically we are just using it now. So I don't have a Zoom subscription. You also don't have a Zoom subscription. So we are all freemium users of Zoom. But the college management has a Zoom subscription, and because of that, we are able to use Zoom for longer meetings like today's session. So if you are just a freemium user, basically you can't use Zoom for like more than you can't use it for more than 60 minutes for like group meetings, something like that. They have some time limit for group meetings. But if someone has a paid subscription and the meeting is like organized by them, then even though you are a freemium user, even though I am a freemium user, I can still be in the meeting for like 2 hours also. So that is what a freemium business model is, and we are all consumers of freemium business model. If you go to YouTube, you can see that you will be showed lot of advertisements, and YouTube will like every now and then prompt you to get a premium subscription which offers ad-free entertainment, right? So what is the real benefit of freemium business model? So the real benefit of freemium business model is like you tend to use the product without paying any money. But what is the benefit for the company to give this product for free? Because for the company, basically by giving this software or like giving this platform for free, basically they are making you to come into their platform. So once you come into their platform, then if you start to like this platform, then obviously you will pay money and get the premium services. So that is the main aim of these companies, basically like giving you these platforms for free. So maybe few people, like few of you may have a YouTube premium subscription, few of you may have a Amazon Prime subscription, few of you may have a Disney Plus Hotstar subscription or a Netflix subscription. So So all of these are because of the freemium business model. Like basically the company gave these for free for you to use, and you liked their product or service, and then you started to pay money, and then started to use their premium services. So that is what freemium business model is. Then we have the subscription business model, which is kind of an extension of the freemium business model. So basically, like, so the company will basically say that, yeah, okay, so if you want to use like Dropbox or like Google Drive, basically they will give you like 2 GB or like 5 GB of space for free. But if you want more space, then basically you need to get their subscription like for $10 per month or something like that. Similarly, like Amazon Prime, Netflix. So Amazon Prime, basically, if you see, it is like a yearly subscription. But Netflix, it is a monthly subscription. So every month you need to like pay money to to watch Netflix. But Amazon Prime, like you can just pay it once in a year. Similarly, Zoom, I think like Zoom, maybe like every month you need to like pay money to like keep up with the subscription. So this is what subscription business model is. So freemium subscription, more or less, like they are kind of an extension. So freemium comes first, and then like they kind of like pull you in by giving it for free, and then kind of like make you start using their subscription products. So the third business model, the third most important business model that we have today is like razor and blade business model. So you all know that like basically if you get a Gillette razor, basically you will get this packet, right? So in this packet, basically you will have this razor, and then you will have this one blades or like two blades. So once you use it for a certain number of times, the blades start to become blunt, and then you start to replace it, right? So that is what a razor and blade business model is. So basically, you have they give you a base product, and then they make you buy buy other products so that you can use the base product. So without the blade, you can't use the razor. Similarly, if you take the coffee making machine, you have this coffee machine, and then you have this coffee capsules. So without the coffee capsule, this machine is not going to be useful, right? You need this coffee capsules. So basically what the company will do is they will sell this coffee machine, they will sell this razor for very low cost. And then like you will kind of like incur all these recurring expenses. So every time you buy a blade, you will pay money to the company. Every time you buy this coffee capsule, you will pay money to the company. So this is how the company will get a recurring revenue. So one time revenue is like just selling the razor, just selling the coffee machine, and then every month you will get some the company will get some revenue, because you will pay the company to get the disposables like the coffee capsule and the razor. So this is another type of business model. The fourth business model is renting instead of buying. So in today's world, like there are like lot of companies coming up with rental plans. So because the cost of living is rising, inflation is rising, all the cost, like the expenses are rising. So people don't want to like own car. People don't want to even sometimes like own a mobile phone, laptop, and all. So basically, many companies are coming up with rental schemes. Basically, so just you need to. So again, this is like kind of a subscription business model. Every month you pay a rent. Basically, it is like a kind of a subscription business model. So you pay a rent. So if you want to use a car, you just pay like $50 every month or $100 every month. And in this $100, basically the company will cover all the servicing costs. You just pay more for the fuel and things like that, but the company will take care of all the servicing, maintenance, all the regulatory costs and all. Similarly, even when you take a mobile phone, the telecom operators are coming up with kind of like subscription business models where if you want to buy an iPhone 14, you don't pay like upfront $2,000. Instead, you can get a subscription from a telecommunication provider, and every month you pay like $20, $30 for like 2 years, something like that. So in that subscription, basically the telecom provider will also give you some data, like local minutes, international minutes, and things like that. So every month you pay some money that will cover up the usage of services, and it will also cover up the cost of the mobile phone itself. So once 2 years are completed, then basically you are free to use the mobile phone with any other service provider. Before that, the service provider will basically lock the mobile phone so that you can't use any other SIM card in that mobile phone. So these are some kind of like rental business models. Of course, like there are like many different products that are using the rental business model these days. Sometimes, like I have seen luxury goods, basically like luxury handbags, luxury dresses, like sometimes like Rolex watches, like luxury watches and all. You can just pay some money as rent, and just you can like use it, and then like maybe you can like you are going for a family function, you just like get a Rolex watch for a small amount, and then you just use it, and then after the function you just return it back. So these are some type of business models that are currently existing in today's world. So then we have a business model called as reverse engineering, which is sometimes illegal, basically, because what you do in reverse engineering is basically you get a competitor's product, and then you kind of like break open everything, you like tear down everything, and you kind of like see what sort of like things they are using in the product, and then you just use the same same parts or like same products to come up with a product that is like very similar to the competitor's product. So this happens a lot in China. So if you go to Shenzhen, Shenzhen is kind of the electronics capital of the world, basically, because if you go to Shenzhen, you can see a lot of electronics manufacturing companies there. You can see a lot of like imitation mobile phones like this, which looks exactly similar to the main product. So you can see a lot of fake iPhones, you can see a lot of like fake laptops, fake smartphones, and all sort of like fake electronic devices like watches, smartwatches, and things like that. But wow, like if you don't use it, basically it will just look very realistically. But only if you get it and use it, you will understand that it is a fake product. But that itself is a business model. Basically, it's like, even though like people get it, like even though they know that it is a fake product, people get it because it looks very similar to iPhone, right? Like basically, like just showing this, like people will not realize that it is a fake iPhone, but only once they use it, they will know that it is not a real iPhone. So that is a big business model, basically. So sometimes it is illegal, but yeah, that is a business model, of course. So Apple, you can see a lot of like this patent infringements, patent battles, like legal battles happening between like bigger companies. So Apple will sue Samsung for copying some feature or like functionality from their smartphone. Like Samsung will sue Apple. So you can see like a lot of these legal battles happening. But of course, it is very difficult to like go and like fight with every company. If it is a bigger company, of course, you can fight it, and if you win it, like you can get like $1 billion, $2 billion as a settlement. But what will you do if you just go and like sue a small company producing this fake products? They will not even have like $1 million to like give you, right? So that is why like you can see a lot of such fake products are like available in today's market. So the next important business model is customer data. So whenever you see any product offering freemium services, basically your data, your personal data is what they are looking for basically. So in today's world, Google knows you more than your friends, more than your parents, sometimes more than even you, right? So like you all search everything in Google, right? We all search everything in Google. Like if I want to get a mobile phone, I just search it in Google. If I want to get a laptop, I search it in Google. So Google basically has a lot of my data, right? And using this data, basically they will target advertisements towards me, through which they will generate some revenue. So that is why they are first of all giving these services for free. So in today's world, you can use Facebook for free, you can use Twitter for free, you can use LinkedIn for free. So all these platforms basically gets your personal data, and they will use this data they will share this data to advertisers, and then advertisers will target relevant advertisements to you. So if you search anything in Google, so if you just search Apple AirPods, Apple iPod in Google, then after like 20 minutes or 10 minutes, you just go to any web page, you will start to see Apple iPod advertisements there. So that is the speed of this targeting. In today's digital world, that's how fast companies are able to immediately target advertisements towards you, because once you type something and click enter in Google, Google will know that you are interested in that thing, and then Google will immediately try to match this data with all the advertisers' data they have, and then all the open advertisements that are available using Google AdWords, or like using any of the Google platform, they will immediately match it with you. So that is how fast in today's world targeting can happen in these digital platforms. So customer data itself is a business model. Of course, like in the recent past, there was a lot of backlash because Facebook was not transparent in how they are using customer data. Sometimes, so even Google was like getting caught in some data privacy problems and things like that. So even so the governments always try to like regulate these companies, because all the personal data are like very sensitive. So the government wants to know what these companies do with these data. So there are some regulations happening, but still, of course, like you are still giving like lot of your personal interests, your personal data to all these digital platforms. So then we have a franchising business model, which basically you all know. So like some very big franchising examples are like McDonald's, KFC, Pizza Hut, Domino's, Starbucks. So all of these are basically called as franchisees. Basically, so if you open a McDonald's outlet, basically you will pay some royalty, you will pay some money to McDonald's for using their logo and using all of their recipes in your shop, something like that. So if you open a burger shop, McDonald's will help you with all the menu, with all the recipe and things like that, and then you sell this burgers, and then you pay a certain percentage of money as royalty to McDonald's for using their franchisee. So you can't own 100% of the revenue and profits that you generate from your outlet if you are doing franchising business model. So that is what franchising is all about. And then we all know about e-commerce. So we all like use Amazon, eBay in today's world. So that is one type of business model which basically eliminates the cost of setting up a physical shop or a physical branch. So without even having any physical branch, e-commerce will help you to like sell whatever product or service you are having to to offer to your customers. So that is another type of business model. So then we have digitalization, as I told you before, like so we have a lot of physical stuff, but of course, like many of these things are getting digitized these days. So back in the olden days, we have big books, but in today you can see e-books. So Amazon Kindle is one good example where they basically convert all the physical books into a e-book format, and then they basically give you a hardware device with which you can read a lot of e-books. And this kinds of like combines many different business models. So if you take Amazon Kindle, for example, their one of their business model is selling this hardware. The second business model is selling you e-books. The third business model is making you get some sort of subscription to get a lot of other e-books also. So they have like a lot of other business models within a single product itself. So this is how business works. So whatever product you are using, you just start to think what is the business model the company is using, whether they have just one business model or whether they have multiple business models kind of like bundled together in the product. So two-sided market is also very similar to e-commerce. Basically, two-sided market just means it helps you to connect with a buyer or a seller using a digital platform. So let's see some disruptive business models in the recent days. So you can see that Airbnb, Uber, Netflix, Uber Eats, Tinder. So these are all like kind of like we call them as disruptive business models because they didn't come up with any new technological innovation basically. So if you take Airbnb for example, Airbnb does not own any house. Airbnb does not own any hotel. They basically just came up with a platform to just connect people like us to people having a hotel or a room or a home to rent out. So it is just a platform that they came up with, and that platform enabled people like us to like get some cheaper accommodation if we travel to any international country. So that is what Airbnb is. Again, Uber does not own any cars, and also basically they just connect people like us to people who own a car so that they can get some revenue during their free time. Again, Netflix does not own any movie theater, and also basically they just get the movie, digitize it, and they put it in the platform for you to watch. So these are some of the disruptive business models in today's world. So of course, like I gave you like 10 different business models. So these are like some top 10 business models that are used in today's world, but there are like thousands and thousands of business models. Basically, you can kind of combine many different business models into to come up with a new business model. So it all depends on your product. So that's you need to like experiment it again with a lot of business models before finally coming up with a business model that is going to work for your product or company. And as I told you before, every successful business will have more than one business model. And so again, coming back to the Airbnb example, you can see that Airbnb helps to connect people like us to people having a room or a home to rent out. And then they basically get some service charge from you, and they will also get some service charge commission from the owner of the house also. So this is something like a two-sided business model again. Basically, they get multiple revenue by just initiating one transaction. And of course, there is also they also like offer some other features in their platform through which they can use multiple business models. So similarly, if you take Grab Food, Uber Eats, and also they also have multiple business models. So they get a delivery charge from you, They get some commission from the hotel. They get some again some commission from the banks. So you can see if you go to Grab Food, you will see that if you use a Citibank credit card or a debit card, you will get some 5% offer, 10% offer and all. So for these offers, basically they will get some commission from the banks for promoting their cards in their platform. And then you can also see some of the hotels advertise them. So if you just type some food name, basically you can see that some of the hotels will advertise their hotel, and you can see that these hotels coming up in the top of the search results. You can see that these are all advertisements. So by advertising also Grab makes some money, and then you also have some subscription, of course. So if you pay some money and get a 1 month subscription, then I think basically the delivery charges are waived off. You'll get some offers and things like that. So there are like multiple business models that Grab is using today. And since today's world is like accelerated by like lot of digital platforms, technology is like growing fastly. Like with technology, a lot of new business models are coming up in today's world, which was not possible back before 10 years or like 20 years. So you can see that there are a lot of like 3D printer companies. So when COVID-19 came, like a lot of these 3D printer companies started to manufacture face mask, face shield and all. Then you have a lot of like financial digital platforms. So like the wallet, and also even if you use Grab, you can use some Grab wallet to store some money and like use it to pay for whatever product you are getting there. And if you use the wallet, you will get some points with which you can redeem later and get some gift and things like that. So technology is kind of like growing every day. Like the world is like coming up with new technologies every day, and all these new technologies are kind of like creating new business models which are like more disruptive, more innovative, and things like that. So you also need to be aware of like what is the new technology that is coming into the market, and how this technology will help to come up with a new business model. So every company, every startup company will first have one business model that they will eventually like kind of perfect it, and then they will go into kind of like discovering other business models to improve their profits and revenue. So this is what I wanted to share with you about business models, some important business models that are used by many big companies in today's world, used by all the startups in today's world. So now let's have a look into some examples of hardware entrepreneurship. So this will basically help you to understand how you can also start to think about converting your IDP project into a real startup venture. So that is why I wanted to share with you some of the companies. So all the companies that I'm going to share with you, like many of the companies that I'm going to share with you are basically portfolio companies of my investors. When I was running my startup, basically my investors also invested in many other startups. So those are the startups I'm going to share with you too. So there is one question in the chat. So what is the best business model for today's world, and how does a business can be sustainable? So, okay, so there is not a single answer for this question. So the best business model should be for your business. It should not be for the entire world, basically, because we have a lot of different companies. So whatever your company is doing, you need to find which business model is good for you. And of course, Of course, it will take some time for you to identify that business model. So before that, you will also like fail a lot of times, and then finally you come up with a business model with which you will you will start to be profitable. And how does a business can be sustainable? Yes, a business can be sustainable by, as I told you before, reducing the costs of developing the product, manufacturing the product, or like developing the service, providing the service, and then improving the revenue. So there are like many different things to do it. So if you are just a hardware startup, basically reducing the bill of materials. So for example, if this mobile phone uses 100 capacitors, and if each capacitor cost $1, is it possible for you to reduce the cost to 50 cents? Can you get a supplier who will provide you the same capacitor for 50 cents? In that case, even for one mobile, you can get an increase of $50 as profit, because you are like reducing $50 in cost, right? So it's basically exercise. It will depend upon like every business. So for your idea, for your business, you need to think which business model will be suitable for you, and how you can reduce the cost of running your business, how you can improve the or increase the revenue and profitable. So if you are able to increase the revenues by spending little money, your business will be sustainable. Okay, so now let's have a look at some of these startups. Let me reshare my screen. Okay, so hope you are seeing my browser now. Okay, so the very first company that I wanted to share with you is this company called as Cradlewise. So basically, what the company is doing is they are basically designing and manufacturing this cradle, which automatically kind of like soothes your baby. So if you have a baby and if you put the baby in the cradle, if the baby is crying, if the baby is feeling any uneasiness, the cradle will automatically move to mimic the movement of human, so that the baby kind of like gets comforted again and goes back to sleep. So what is the problem? First of all, they have identified like what is the problem. Basically, anyone having a kid at home, basically maybe your relatives have a kid or something like that. So even like have a kid at home, like a newborn baby, something like that. Anyone having it? Maybe your relatives. So you stay in your relatives' home. Basically, you go for a vacation to your relatives' home. Your relative like have a newborn baby there. Anyone in that scenario? Okay, so okay, maybe just go and ask your mother. So just go and ask your mother what was the problem she was facing when you were a newborn baby. So if you go and ask that, you will understand why this very product existed, why this very product exists in today's world. So just to give you a small background, so like as a new, like you all know, newborn babies always cry, right? Like you all know that, right? Like newborn babies like cry because like they can't like express like ourselves, right? They can't say you like that they are hungry, that they need sleep, they need water, they need food. Like they can't say you anything, right? So their only language is crying, basically. So they will always cry. So if they are feeling uneasy, they will cry. If they are feeling thirsty, they will cry. If they are feeling hungry, they will cry. But they will not clear. But you will not really understand like why they are crying. Of course, the mother will be able to clearly understand, because the bonding between the mother and the newborn is always very good. So the mother will always understand the baby is crying. So sometimes suddenly in the middle of the night, the baby will start to cry for no reason. So then what this will do is basically this will kind of like spoil the sleep of everyone, right? So if you have a newborn baby in your home, basically no one can like sleep properly, like, of course. So that is the most important thing here, because like the baby will suddenly cry and like you will wake up like here and there for quite a number of times during this entire night. So this was okay in the olden days, because in the olden days, like people were still in the home, like people were like having people were in joint families. So like a lot of people were there to take care of the kid. But in today's world, like in today's globalized world, like everyone are like far apart, right? So basically you go to work for some other country, right? Then you have a family there. Then you can't really like bring your parents like very conveniently, like how you used to be when you are still in your home country, right? So these are some of the problems that this company found out. So that is why they came up with this cradle-wise uh, product, which automatically like kinds of like moves the cradle here and there whenever the baby cries, so that like as a parent, so the parent will get a good sleep in the night. So basically, if you can see this, right? So it kind of like really mimics how a human consoles a baby. So the cradle like has a lot of sensors with which it kinds of like detects how the baby is feeling, how the baby is reacting to the movements, and then the cradle will like do different types of movements to kind of like make the baby sleep again. So this will basically help the parents to have some good sleep in the night, so that they get up fresh in the morning. And then if they are a working parent, then they go to work fresh without like dizziness, without like sleepiness and things like that. So this is one company. So there is one more question: what is the best criteria for engineering product prototype that can be made nowadays? So so see, like there is no criteria basically. So prototype, the what is the aim of a prototype? The aim of a prototype is to first of all experiment. So you will have some hypothesis in your mind that you want to experiment, and that is why you need to first develop a prototype. And then once you develop a prototype, you go and give it to your potential user or potential customer, and then make them use your prototype, and then you test whatever hypothesis you had in your mind. And if the customer is giving you some good feedback, it means your prototype is good. Basically what you did was good. But if the customer is not satisfied with it, then basically you need to rethink a different idea, and then develop a different prototype, and then again give it to your customer. So that's what we saw in the lean startup session. That's what we also saw in the rapid prototyping session. So probably you can watch those sessions again, so that you can have like a more in-depth understanding of rapid prototyping. Okay, so the next company that I wanted to share with you is called as Qsense Lab. So basically this company is kind of an IoT company, basically working on food contamination detection, something like that. So what is the problem again they are facing here? So you all know that. So let's take Singapore for example. In Singapore, all the fresh vegetables, all the fresh fruits, dairy products, milk, yogurt, like most of it come from Malaysia, Philippines, Indonesia, yeah, sometimes even Vietnam. So because Singapore is a very small country, they don't have any farming facilities. So all of these come from different countries, right? So can you imagine how much milk comes into Singapore? Probably like every day it can be like probably like 10,000, 20,000, or like even 100,000 cartons of like milk, right? So similarly, let's say fruits, vegetables. So how much apple is coming into Singapore every day? Probably like it will be somewhere in like 200 kilograms, like 500 kilograms, 1000 kilograms, right? These are just random numbers I'm just throwing, but you can see when like such big consignments come into a country, it is very difficult to test and inspect each and every apple, right? Can you imagine if consignment of 1000 kgs of apple is coming into the country, how many people are you going to employ to visually inspect all the 1000 kgs of apple? 1000 kgs of apple can probably, like, if 1 kg of apple is like 5 apples, so 1000 kgs of apple is like 5000 apples. So can someone like inspect 5000 apples visually? And sometimes like all these products, all the food products like looks okay in outside, but inside maybe the food is like perish, or inside maybe the food is like rotten or something like that. So because of this, the companies that are importing such fresh foods started to face huge losses. So that is why this company came up with a non-destructive testing platform, which automatically finds out whether the food is good or not. So I'm just going to play this video so you can see what the product is capable of doing. So you can see, if you see the video, you can find out that without cutting the apple, the sensor is able to find out whether the apple is spoiled inside or not. So this is one more example. Yeah, so there is it was just music, so I didn't like, I just muted it. So so don't worry. So you can just see that the sensor is able to like find out whether the apple is good or bad without cutting it open. So basically it is they are using some ultrasound sensors in the device to identify this. Okay, so then there are like lot of different robotics company basically. So that many robotic companies are there, which basically helps with all the logistics, supply chain, cleaning, all such things. Maybe even you would have seen some of these robots in Malaysia, maybe in some restaurant or like in some malls that used to clean. So this is one more. So you can see that like the robo has like many different applications. So you can see this robo can be used to used in a big warehouse to organize all the goods, like sort all the goods. Can be used in logistics and things like that. Then can be used for material handling, can be used for cleaning, can be used for like disinfecting the surfaces. It has like lot of many different sensors and things like that. So these products basically most of the time come again as a subscription business model. So all the three products that I showed you before, like the Cradle Wise, of course you can get this product upfront by paying money. Sometimes you can even get it on a subscription basis. The QSense, the IoT sensor, you can again get it in a subscription basis. These robots, You can get it in a subscription basis. So then there are like many different robots like that. So again, this robot. So let me reshare it with sound. This robot is basically a bathroom cleaning robot. So you can see.
What happened to the future? They promised us flying cars. Instead, we got tweets. Where are all the robots? I tried to picture machines as they moved through our world. What did they look like? When would they be here? I kept dreaming of the time I thought I'd never see. And then one day, it was clear. Just choose a future and build it.
So you can see that this robot is capable of even opening the door, right? So see like how sophisticated these products are. It can automatically open the door, it can go inside, it can clean it, and it can come out. So this is how technology is helping to come up with new products and new business models. So can you even like now understand? So if this robot becomes so popular, then it will basically eliminate a lot of people working as a cleaner, right? So if this robot comes into the market for a cheaper cost, then every company is going to get this robot. So then you can see a lot of people getting laid off, a lot of people who are the cleaning job getting laid off. So this is why like technology kinds of like has two phases. Basically, it helps like to do some tasks efficiently, but at the same time there are also some drawbacks with which like there can be some layoffs and things like that. So then there are some robots like drone applications. So I'm again going to show this video.
Introducing the Sky Gauge, the unmanned system designed for both visual and wall thickness inspection. Using the Sky Gauge, workers stay on the ground while the drone performs inspections in hazardous locations. Stability is fundamental for collecting thickness data because the inspection requires precise contact with the surface in predetermined locations. The Sky Gauge is uniquely suited for this by reinventing how drones fly. It features a stable frame by tilting the rotors to control the aircraft. Flying near structures creates strong air turbulence. The tilting rotors instantaneously correct for turbulence, wind, and gusts to maintain precise contact. If a single data point is not enough, the Sky Gauge is able to perform a continuous linear scan. The Sky Gauge can hover at any angle with the tilting rotor design. This is ideal for inspecting sloped or curved surfaces. But most of all, the Sky Gauge is a multi-purpose tool for inspectors. Attach a wire brush for cleaning inspection surfaces, angle beam probe for weld inspections, or phased array probe for corrosion mapping. The Sky Gauge is a revolutionary drone for any inspection. Improve worker safety, reduce downtime, and minimize cost. Discover what the Sky Gauge can do for you and your inspection teams.
So if you take this company, the main problem that they found out was like inspecting this oil and gas pipelines in remote locations. So it is very difficult, right? The oil and gas pipelines are like so big, also placed in remote locations. So they started to use this robo drone. for doing such inspections. So then there are also like other sort of products, hardware products. So basically, if you do any knee surgery, like if you have any knee wounds and all, basically this company came up with a sensor to find out how much damage has been happened to the ankles, the knee, and things like that, and then like give you some suggestions to speed up your recovery after the surgery or after the wound and things like that. So this is one another type of company. Then we have this company which basically is a portable PCB fabricator machine. So you have a 3D printer, right? So if you have a 3D printer, basically you can just prototype whatever. Like if you want to just prototype an enclosure, you can just quickly fabricate it using a 3D printer. But what if you want to fabricate a PCB board itself? So that is what this company is currently doing. So this company is able to kind of like instantly fabricate PCB machines to help you speed up your product development process. So then this company again is basically a very recent company that started after COVID-19 came. So after COVID-19 came, many people were not knowing how to disinfect like commonly used areas like rooms, hotels, bathrooms, restrooms, and things like that, right? So then this company came up with this ARC solution, which is basically a UV light based solution. It's not a robotic solution. Basically, you just need to like place this UV light inside the area where you want to disinfect, and then it will automatically performs a UV disinfection. So this is one company, and then we have a lot of medical diagnostics companies, like each company coming up with like a lot of features. So then I also wanted to introduce you to this Kickstarter platform. So if you go to this Kickstarter platform, you can see like a lot of different hardware product ideas. So basically, if you want some sort of investment to further develop your prototype, you can start a Kickstarter campaign. It is called as crowdfunding basically. So you can start a Kickstarter campaign and you can post about your project, and the people interested in your project can like contribute some funding to your product development. So if you go to Kickstarter, you can see like crazy ideas. So you can see like electric toothbrush for cat. So you can see like a lot of different ideas like this, like smart telescope, like a lot of different ideas like smart scope and things like that. So again, like portable like printing machines and things like that. So these are some of the startups that I wanted to share. Of course, like if you go to this Kickstarter page, you can see many hardware ideas. You can even get a lot of ideas by doing this. You can see how they are like promoting their products. You can see how they are marketing their products. And if anyone is like really interested in starting up your own company, crowdfunding is a very good way to like raise some funding for your idea. And using this platform can help you to like raise some funding with which you can like speed up your product development process and start to like commercialize your idea. So I really encourage you to like go to Kickstarter and see all these different products, get inspired, like get more ideas, and of course like try to contribute, maybe if you want to start up your own venture. Okay, so that's all for today's session. Any questions?
Any questions from the student? Any questions? What is the experience in spin off a company, right? Using this concept of business model in country like this Vietnam, country like India, country like Singapore and US, Malaysia. So I wonder if for young entrepreneur, young or middle age entrepreneur or old age entrepreneur, what about the encouragement and these environments that promotes spin-off and business adventure into business? Would it be more chances in one's country rather than in the underdeveloped country? Would it be more chances or more matured or more channel to look for funding and ideas? I wonder, what's your opinion?
Yeah, so in today's world, like every country is focusing on entrepreneurship. So every country has their own startup and entrepreneurship policies, and then the government is like trying to give a lot of grants and funding. So like I can see a lot of grants funding in Singapore, and I can also see a lot of such grants funding in India also. But of course, the amount of the quantum of the grant will be different, because of course, like running a company in Singapore is definitely way expensive than running a company in India. So the quantum of the grant that we can get in developed countries is always bigger than the quantum of the grant that we can develop in that we can get in developing countries. But what we need to first understand is like, what is the market that we are targeting? So that is what we need to first of all understand. A product that is targeted for Indian market may not work in Singapore market. A product that is targeted for Malaysian market may not work in Indian market. So that is why we need to really understand who our customers are and what sort of problems they are facing, and how our solution can solve their problems without spending a lot of money. And like I will encourage like every student to like really jump into this entrepreneurship and startup at least once in their lifetime. The sooner it is better, basically, because if they just run a startup for 2 years, the amount of knowledge, experiences that they can get, they can get only this if they work for 15 years in a company. So just 2 years of like startup experience, the amount of knowledge and experience you get, like you can really beat someone who has like 10 years of experience. So if you do it sooner, it is better, because you don't have much risks to take. Basically, if you do it in your 30s and 40s, then you have a bigger risk, because you have a family and you need to like properly like plan things out. But if you just do it when you are just a student, when you are in your 20s, it is easier, even if easier to come back from a failure. So that is what I wanted to say. But I don't treat it as a failure. I treat that as a learning experience, basically. Any other questions?
Ada soalan? You may want to text, right? You can want to text it if you want to ask, or if you feel awkward, right, to speak it out. Sometimes people are shy, right? Malaysian style, right? Very shy. No, so far. Okay. Let me give a chance, right? 1, 2 and plus, no more. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for the sharing. Thank you for the sharing. I think we learned something, right? We learned something about spin-off and business model. The earlier that we venture into experience, right? Probably it might save us from the impact, but the learning curve is sometimes painful.
Yeah.
Painful and might not be very present, right? But that is the learning curve, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Arjun. I'll stop the